Good morning, fourth graders. You know what? This subtracting thing, I think we pretty much got this down. I'm going to throw a little something at you today that's slightly different. First of all, the numbers are huge. And second of all, you have to borrow across zeros occasionally. I'm going to show you how to do that in a massive way, but I want you to know that it's not as difficult as it sounds. And I think actually some of you probably already have this mastered. So, do I look concerned? Nope, not the least bit. Here we go. Let's start with this problem right here. I've got 253,421 subtract 75,832. Easy peasy, Mr. C. First order of business is to actually do a little regrouping here. We had to borrow. And I'm not going to go too deep into the explanation here because you guys seemed to handle it yesterday pretty well. But so I did borrow, regrouped, knocked my two tens down to 110, subtracting my two ones from my, well, I like to do this. Okay, so I'm going to back up just a bit here. I like to go ahead and settle everything out. I know. Does that make me strange? Possibly. So what this means is in all cases, I am ready to subtract. What this takes is having to kind of analyze things before you go into the problem and think, okay, where do I need to regroup? Where do I need to borrow? And not do it one at a time and then do the subtraction, then go back to the top and do it again and do it again. In this way, I'm actually all set just to do this, subtracting one place value after another, and then I'm done. So here we go. I think maybe you might want me to tell you what I did here, but I think you can see by my crossouts that I did have to borrow from the 4 to make the 11 tens here, and so that makes 3. I had to borrow from the 3 to make 2 thousands here, so that gave me 13 in the hundreds place, and then I had to go over to the 10,000s place and borrow and rename the thousands place into 12. And then I've got one more piece to go here, and that's the last piece, borrowing from the 100,000s place. And now I have 14 in the 10,000s place, and I'm good to go. So here we go. I'm just going to start subtracting straight across because this is the stuff I learned in second grade. Yes, a long, did I mention long time ago? I think I did. 11 minus 2 is 9. 11 minus 3 is 8. 13 minus 8 is 5. There's a comma there because remember, 3 digits to a period. 12 minus 5 is 7. 14 minus 7 is 7. And finally, 1 minus nothing is 1. So my answer is going to be 177,589. There you have it. Now, I'm going to guess that if you went and did this yourself, you may have done it slightly differently. You may have gone ahead and done the subtraction at every place value. That's fine. You can still do it that way, whatever you're comfortable with. But I will guarantee one thing. You made the same notations up here that I made. I guarantee that much. So, I'm going to reset myself here. And I'm going to show you this with a tape diagram. Why? Just because I can, and because at some point you're going to have to use this. They may ask you to use this in the homework set. I'm going to make it optional, but in case you want to use it, here's a guide on how to use it. You took your initial total of 253,421. You made part of the tape diagram the amount you're subtracting, and you made the unknown part. You named it A because A is also called a variable in algebra. And believe me when I tell you, as the years go forward in math, you're going to learn how to do algebra. I know. It's fun, really. Our answer in this case happens to be A, or 177,589. Why is it A? Because A was our unknown. We discovered our unknown by doing the subtraction. There's slide 1. Off we go to slide 2. Now, this is the part where I think you might want to pay particular attention because there's one little place where you can slip up here. Let me show you what that looks like. Smaller numbers, easier to manage. So I'm going to be, I look at this problem and I think, okay, Mr. C, I can't subtract 4 from 0 and 7 from 0 and 8 from 0 and 3 from 0 because, well, 0 is 0. There's nothing there to subtract. So I have to go all the way over to the 10,000th place and borrow there, and then watch what I do. I've made that a 10, but then, oops, I have to borrow and regroup here. So I made the 10 into a 9, again, and finally stopping at the ones place. Now, what's confusing about this is I had to drop a 10 into each of those before I made the situation right. In other words, I had to borrow and carry and regroup all the way over to the ones place because I had zeros all the way across. Is that going to happen very often? No. I have given you a couple of problems kind of like this with zeros in the do now, but it hasn't been for a few days, and I don't know whether you did that problem. If you didn't, well, this may be your first attempt. Good luck. So again, you're going to be subtracting 10 from 4 is 6, 7 from 9 is 2, 8 from 9 is 1. I need my comma after the first period. I know that always sounds strange when I say it too. 9 minus 3 is 6, and I don't have any 10,000s, so there it is. That's my answer. You try. I'm going to want you to pause, so write this down, and then pause the video, and then come back and check your work. Do that now. In fact, I'm going to pause my presentation here just because it feels more... Okay, I'm back, and I hope you are too, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching this. I know. So, the same kind of procedure you see to the left is going to be repeated, except I have one more place value. I'm out to the 100,000th place in my original number. So, there it is. I've borrowed all the way across. My answer is 65,316. If you made a mistake here, if I had to guess about where your mistake occurred, it would have probably been the fact that you didn't turn these into 9s. Oops, I'm going to make that bigger and a different color too. If you made a mistake, it was right there. You left those as 10s. You can't do that because you have to borrow and carry and regroup all the way over to the ones place so that you have a 10 here. I'm going to delete that. Oop, people are laughing at me again. Business as usual, right? So there you go. That is your calculation. And what's the pattern? Well, the pattern is, I'll let you guess if you want. I'll count in my head to 3. Okay, I counted to 3. And what the pattern is that you're going to be borrowing and regrouping all the way across, and you're leaving behind a 9 every time you have to regroup because you had to cover the 0 with a 10 first. That's where people tend to make mistakes. If you didn't get the same answer I did, you might want to try it again, or you might want to say, yo, Mr. C, I'm not quite sure how you did that. Would you please show me one more example? And I'll walk you through it on the document camera, and you'll be good to go. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.